Rian had never imagined a planet like Voron could exist. From the moment his small spacecraft pierced the thick clouds of the atmosphere, he felt a strange mix of awe and unease. The planet's surface stretched out like a vast mosaic of green forests, silver rivers, and towering crystalline mountains that reflected the light of its twin suns. It was beautiful, almost too perfect, yet there was something about it that made Ryan's heart beat faster. Something alive. The Terran Alliance had sent him on a mission to explore distant star systems for rare resources. Voron had shown up on the scanners as an uncharted planet, with readings that suggested it might contain minerals vital for the survival of Earth's colonies. Ryan had expected rocks, maybe a few alien plants, and perhaps some small animals. He had not expected life like this. As he stepped out of his shuttle, the air itself seemed different. It was thicker, warmer, carrying scents that were both sweet and metallic. Ryan took a cautious breath. Each inhalation made him feel more alert, more aware of every sound, every movement. Then he saw them, the aliens. They came into view as he walked down a crystal path that appeared to have been shaped naturally, but was impossibly smooth. Their bodies were tall, almost twice the height of a human, with long limbs that moved gracefully. Their skin shimmered with subtle patterns that changed color depending on the light, giving them a living, breathing camouflage. Their eyes were larger than human eyes, with vertical pupils that glowed faintly, but it was their presence that struck Ryan the most. They carried themselves with the confidence of creatures who had lived in harmony with this world for centuries. Before he could react, a voice spoke. It was not loud, but it filled the air around him, resonating in a way that made him shiver. Human. Rian turned sharply and found himself facing a figure unlike the others. She was taller than the rest, regal in posture, and her aura seemed to command respect and fear simultaneously. Her skin shimmered with silver light and her eyes glowed with a soft golden hue. She wore a robe made of material that seemed to flow like liquid. Every movement she made felt deliberate, powerful, and precise. "I am Queen Zarya," she said. Her voice was calm but carried authority. "You have entered our world without permission. Why are you here?" Ryan swallowed hard. He had expected to meet aliens, perhaps even communicate with them. But the intensity of this moment left him speechless. His training as an explorer kicked in, reminding him to remain calm. I am Rian," he finally said. "I come from Earth. I am here to explore and study your planet. I mean no harm." Queen Zarya's gaze did not waver. She seemed to be looking directly into his mind, weighing his words against his intentions. The other aliens had stopped and were watching him silently, their expressions unreadable. Ryan realized that he was not just meeting a leader. He was standing before the ruler of an entire civilization. "Humans," Zarya said slowly, as if tasting the word. "Your kind is known for courage and ingenuity, but also for unpredictability. This planet is not yours to explore without guidance. Yet you are alive, and that shows potential." Ryan felt a mix of relief and confusion. "Potential alive?" He was not sure if he should feel honored or frightened. Zarya took a step closer. "I give you a choice, Rian. You may leave now and never return, or you may stay and learn the ways of Voron. There is a cost to staying." Ryan's heart thumped in his chest. "A cost?" he asked. "Yes," the Queen said, her golden eyes locking onto his. "I am the ruler of this world. If you choose to stay, you must serve the people of Voron. You must accept my guidance and follow the laws of this land. Refusal will not be tolerated," Ryan swallowed. He had faced danger before in asteroid belts and hostile planets, but this was different. This was not about physical survival. This was about understanding a civilization that could destroy him if he failed to understand it. He nodded slowly. I will stay and learn." Zarya's eyes softened slightly. "Good, then your trials begin tomorrow. For tonight, you may rest." She waved her hand and 2 aliens stepped forward, guiding Rian toward a structure that appeared to grow naturally from the ground. It was massive, built from translucent crystal that glowed faintly from within. The walls reflected the light of the twin suns, creating patterns that shifted like water. As they led him inside, Ryan realized that this was not just a palace. It was alive, part of the planet itself. Inside, he was given a simple room with a bed that adjusted to his body, and a small console that provided basic nourishment. Though the room was minimal, it radiated a sense of calm and security. Ryan lay down, staring at the ceiling that seemed to pulse with the rhythm of the planet. He tried to process everything. Queen Zarya had said his trials would begin tomorrow. What kind of trials? Physical? Mental? Morale? He had no idea. All he knew was that his life, his very existence, was now entangled with an alien civilization more advanced and powerful than anything he had imagined. As night fell, the twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting a strange violet glow across the crystal structures. Rian felt a mixture of excitement and fear. He was here to explore, to understand, and perhaps to make history, yet he could not ignore the reality. He had entered a world where one wrong move could mean disaster. Sleep did not come easily. His mind raced with questions. How advanced were these aliens? Could he trust them? What did Queen Zarya see in him that made her pause before giving him the choice? And most importantly, could he survive the trials that awaited him? When dawn came, the Crystal Palace was bathed in golden light. Rian rose and prepared himself. Today he would meet the Queen again and face whatever challenges she had set for him. He knew that this was only the beginning. The human spirit had always thrived on challenges, and perhaps this would be the greatest challenge of all. He followed the same crystal path from the previous day, and this time, the palace courtyard was alive with activity. Aliens moved gracefully through the space, practicing forms of combat and communication that seemed like dance to an untrained eye. Their movements were precise, synchronized, and beautiful. Rian realized that this was a civilization built not only on strength, but on discipline and harmony. Queen Zarya awaited him at the center of the courtyard. She did not speak immediately. Instead, she observed him as he approached, noting every hesitation, every careful step. "You have come willingly," she said finally. "That is a good start. But willingness alone is not enough. Strength, intelligence, and loyalty will be tested. You must show that you are worthy of standing among us." Rian felt the weight of her words. He understood that he was not just a visitor here. He was a student, a candidate, and perhaps something more. The Queen turned and gestured toward a large open space beyond the courtyard. There he saw a variety of challenges, towering structures, alien beasts, and devices that defied explanation. "This is the first trial," Zarya said. "You will navigate these obstacles, showing your courage, resourcefulness, and respect for life. Fail, and you will understand the true meaning of consequence. Succeed, and you will earn the respect of my people." Rian took a deep breath. Fear still lingered, but it was mixed with determination. Humans had faced impossible odds before, and he was not about to falter now. The aliens who would observe his trial took their positions silently. Rian stepped forward. The crystal under his feet felt alive, almost as if it were aware of his presence. He focused on the path ahead, knowing that every choice, every movement would be watched. The first obstacle was a narrow bridge stretching over a deep chasm. The air shimmered above the gap, making it hard to judge distance. Rian steadied his breathing and stepped carefully. The bridge wavered slightly under his weight, testing his balance and patience. Halfway across he slipped, but caught himself on the edge. His heart pounded. Failure here could have been fatal, yet he pressed on. Beyond the bridge he encountered an alien creature resembling a large feline with crystalline fur and glowing eyes. It watched him silently, and Rian realized he could not simply fight it. Instead, he crouched slightly, maintaining eye contact without showing fear. Slowly, the creature lowered itself and allowed him to pass. A small smile of relief crossed Rian's face. Respect and understanding mattered more than brute force. By the time he reached the final part of the trial, he was exhausted but alert. A series of puzzles required him to use logic and perception. The solutions were not obvious, but Rian relied on his human ingenuity. Piece by piece, he solved them, earning quiet nods of approval from the observing aliens. Finally, he reached the end of the course. Queen Zarya was there, her expression unreadable. She extended a hand. "You have completed the first trial," she said. "Few humans would last even this long. You show promise, Rian, but this is only the beginning. Greater challenges await, and the choices you make will define your place among us." Rian felt a mixture of pride and trepidation. He had survived the first test, but he knew the trials ahead would demand more than courage. They would demand understanding, wisdom, and perhaps a strength he had not yet discovered within himself. As he followed the aliens back to his quarters, Rian realized that Voron was not just a planet. It was a living lesson, a test of spirit, and he, a single human, had stepped into a story far greater than he had ever imagined. The sun rose over Voron, casting golden light across the crystal palace and the sprawling forests beyond. Ryan woke feeling the weight of the previous day's trial in his muscles and mind. Every step, every decision, every moment had been scrutinized by the alien observers. He knew that the trials would only grow harder. His first challenge had tested courage and perception, but now he faced what the Queen had called the true test of his potential. As he stepped into the courtyard, Ryan noticed the aliens were already assembled. This time their formations were more structured, more purposeful. He realized that he was not only being observed, but also measured against the society's standards. Every movement, every glance mattered. Queen Zarya appeared at the center of the courtyard. Her golden eyes scanned him like a blade. "Ryan," she said, her voice calm yet commanding, "today's trial will test your intelligence, adaptability, and moral judgment. You will encounter situations where your decisions will affect life and balance. Understand this. One mistake can have consequences far beyond yourself." Ryan nodded, swallowing the nervousness rising in his chest. He had faced dangerous worlds before, but nothing like this. This was not a battle he could fight with weapons alone. This was a test of his mind, his heart, and his humanity. The first part of the trial led him into a dense forest unlike any he had seen before. The trees were massive, their trunks spiraling upward like towers. Leaves glimmered with reflective surfaces, making it difficult to distinguish depth and distance. Alien sounds filled the air, clicks, hums, and whispers that seemed almost sentient. Ryan realized that the forest itself might be alive, watching him as he walked. Ahead, he saw two paths. One path was narrow and clear, lined with delicate plants that shimmered faintly. The other was wide, covered in thick vines, and seemed darker and more treacherous. A voice echoed in his mind, soft but insistent, almost guiding him. "Choose wisely, human. Life and understanding are more than strength and speed." Ryan paused, considering both paths. The narrow path looked safe but fragile. He feared that one wrong step could break the delicate balance of the forest. The wide path seemed dangerous but offered space to navigate. He made his choice. He would take the narrow path, careful not to harm a single plant or creature. As he moved forward, the forest seemed to react. Leaves shimmered and shifted, almost as if approving his respect for life. Halfway along the path, a creature emerged. It resembled a cross between a fox and a bird, with luminous feathers and long, slender legs. Its eyes reflected intelligence and caution. It approached cautiously, circling Ryan. He froze, unsure whether the creature was dangerous or testing him. He remembered the lesson from the first trial. Respect and understanding mattered more than force. Slowly, he knelt and extended a hand. The creature studied him for a long moment before stepping forward, brushing its feathers lightly against his hand. Ryan smiled softly. The path ahead became clearer, and the creature led him to a hidden grove where the next challenge awaited. The grove was surrounded by towering crystalline rocks, and within it Ryan found a puzzle unlike anything he had encountered. Alien inscriptions covered the stones, glowing softly. There were symbols of stars, planets, and unknown energies. A large orb floated in the center, pulsating with light. Ryan realized that he needed to align the symbols in a certain way to activate the orb, but the pattern was not obvious. He studied the symbols carefully. The first instinct was to try combinations randomly, but he quickly realized that the alien civilization valued logic and harmony over guesswork. He focused on patterns, observing how the light changed with each small movement of the stones. Hours passed and his fingers moved slowly, guided by patience and observation. Finally, the symbols aligned, and the orb emitted a bright light. Ryan felt a warmth spread through him, and the grove seemed to respond. The creatures of the forest appeared, nodding and stepping back as if acknowledging his success. He had passed this test not by speed, but by understanding and perseverance. Exiting the grove, Ryan entered a wide-open space where the next challenge awaited, a series of alien machines designed to test coordination and moral judgment. Small drones hovered in patterns, each carrying fragile crystalline orbs. Some orbs contained harmless energy, while others would release a small shock if disturbed. Ryan realized the test was to navigate through the drones without causing harm, while also helping any that were in danger. As he moved forward, a drone tipped its orb, wobbling dangerously. Without hesitation, Ryan leaped and caught it just in time. Another orb floated toward a young alien child who had wandered into the test area. He intercepted it, ensuring the child was safe. The Queen's words echoed in his mind. Decisions matter. Protect life, balance, and understanding. Rian realized that this trial was not only about survival but about proving that humans could value more than self-interest. His actions were deliberate, cautious, and thoughtful. When he reached the end of the course, he saw Queen Zarya waiting, her expression unreadable. "You have performed well," she said. "You show intelligence, caution, and respect. But trials are not only about individual skill. The final challenge tests your ability to lead and inspire." Rian's heart raced. Lead and inspire? He had never been in a position like this before. He had followed instructions, observed carefully, and respected life. But leadership was another matter entirely. The Queen gestured, and a group of aliens approached. They were part of the trial. Their task was to move a large, intricate structure from one part of the courtyard to another. The structure required careful coordination, thought, and communication. Rian realized that he was expected to guide them without causing harm or conflict. He stepped forward. "Follow my lead," he said simply. His voice carried the confidence he had gathered from the previous trials. He assigned roles based on the abilities he observed in each alien, explaining how they should work together. At first there was hesitation. Some aliens glanced at him skeptically, questioning whether a human could lead them. Rian remained calm. He demonstrated the first step himself, showing precision, care, and patience. Slowly, the aliens began to follow. They adapted to his methods, and the structure moved forward. He made small adjustments, listened to suggestions, and guided without forcing. The alien observers watched quietly, impressed by his ability to combine thought, care, and leadership. Hours passed, and the structure reached its destination safely. Not a single piece was broken, and the aliens performed flawlessly. Queen Zarya nodded, her golden eyes reflecting pride and consideration. "You have proven that humans can lead not only with courage but with understanding. Leadership is not only strength but wisdom, and you possess both." Rian exhaled, feeling a mixture of relief and accomplishment. He had faced complex challenges, tested both physically and mentally, and emerged with respect from the alien civilization. Yet he knew the trials were far from over. That evening, as he rested in his quarters, he reflected on the lessons of the day. Courage was important, but understanding, patience, and respect for life were just as critical. The alien civilization valued more than strength. They valued balance, harmony, and wisdom. Rian realized that to survive here and earn his place, he would need to grow in ways he had never imagined. As he drifted to sleep, he felt a spark of determination. He had faced fear, uncertainty, and challenge, and he had adapted. Queen Zarya's eyes had seen potential in him, and he would not disappoint. The trials ahead would demand more, but Rian understood that the human spirit could rise to any challenge when guided by courage, intelligence, and compassion. The morning sun bathed Vorin in soft golden light, and Rian stepped into the crystal courtyard with a sense of purpose. The trials of courage, intelligence, and moral judgment had changed him. He no longer felt like a visitor in this alien world. He was a participant, a student of its wonders, and perhaps something more. Yet he could sense that the true test was only beginning. Queen Zarya awaited him at the center of the courtyard. Her posture was regal, commanding attention without effort. Her golden eyes held a quiet intensity, as if she were reading the thoughts within his mind. Around her, members of the alien court moved gracefully, observing every interaction, every expression, every decision he made. "Rian," she said, her voice firm yet calm, "you have passed the trials of courage and wisdom. Now you face the challenges of perception, influence, and loyalty. The court will test your ability to inspire and unite, and you must demonstrate that humans are capable of more than survival." Rian nodded. He understood that this trial was not just about him. It was about humanity itself. If he failed, it would reinforce the notion that humans were fragile, unpredictable, and unworthy of respect. If he succeeded, it could open the doors to alliances beyond anything he had imagined. The first part of the day involved observing the workings of the alien court. Rian was introduced to high-ranking officials, advisors, and strategists. Each conversation tested his ability to listen, understand, and respond appropriately. The aliens' thoughts were intricate, and their culture valued subtlety, diplomacy, and logic. Rian had to read between the lines, sensing intentions without misjudging motives. One advisor, Tala, approached him with curiosity. She was tall, graceful, and intelligent, her eyes reflecting both caution and interest. "Human," she said, "your first trials were impressive. But the court will watch how you interact with us, how you influence and inspire. Many who succeed in physical trials fail in diplomacy." Rian nodded. "I understand. I will do my best." Tala smiled faintly, impressed by his humility and honesty. "Do not underestimate the value of kindness and respect. Humans have the potential for great influence if they balance strength with understanding." The next challenge came in the form of a simulated crisis. A holographic projection filled the courtyard, showing a village of alien citizens under threat from a sudden natural disaster. The task was to organize rescue operations, allocate resources, and make rapid decisions to minimize harm. Rian studied the holographic scenario carefully. He could see the panic of the citizens, the confusion of the rescuers, and the fragile structures at risk. He realized that brute force or speed alone would not save them. The solution required careful observation, planning, and leadership. He divided the rescuers into teams based on their abilities, giving clear instructions and explaining the reasoning behind each action. Some aliens hesitated, questioning a human's authority, but Ryan remained calm. He demonstrated methods with precision and patience, showing them the benefits of cooperation and strategic thinking. The holographic simulation responded to his decisions. Lives were saved, structures were stabilized, and chaos was managed. Queen's area and the court observed silently, their expressions unreadable. But Rian felt a subtle shift, a recognition that humans could think beyond immediate survival and influence events positively. After the simulation, Tala approached him again. "You have shown skill, but influence is not only about decisions. It is about trust. The court will now test your ability to gain the respect of those who doubt you." Ryan followed her to a large hall where several skeptical members of the court awaited. Their arms were crossed, eyes sharp with suspicion. Some whispered among themselves, questioning whether a human could ever truly understand their society. One of them, an older alien named Varek, stepped forward. "Human, you have shown courage and cleverness in trials, but leadership is more than intelligence. Convince us that your intentions are pure and that your decisions consider the greater good." Ryan stood tall. He spoke slowly, carefully choosing his words. "I have learned that life, balance, and respect are at the heart of this civilization. My choices aim to protect the innocent, preserve life, and honor the laws of Vorin. I am not here to dominate, but to contribute, to learn, and to prove that humans can be allies, not threats." The court listened in silence. The tension in the room was palpable. Then Varric nodded slowly. "Your words are sincere, human. We will observe your actions further, but sincerity alone is not enough. Actions must match words," Rian understood. This was a lesson in patience and consistency. He spent the following hours assisting with minor tasks in the palace, guiding younger aliens and mediating disputes among the court. Every interaction was observed, every decision noted. Slowly, he felt the skepticism of the court give way to cautious respect. During a brief rest, Tala approached him again. "Rian, you are learning quickly. But remember, trust is fragile. One mistake could undo the progress you have made. Observe, listen, and act with integrity. That is how humans can earn a place among us." Rian nodded, appreciating her guidance. He had learned that humility, patience, and care were as important as courage and intelligence. He was beginning to understand that this trial was not about dominance but about harmony and mutual respect. The afternoon brought another test, a negotiation between two alien factions within the court. They had conflicting interests over resource allocation, and the task was to mediate a solution that satisfied both sides without causing resentment. Rian observed the discussion, noting the concerns of each side. One faction emphasized efficiency and progress, while the other stressed tradition and preservation. He spoke calmly, acknowledging both perspectives and suggesting compromises that honored the values of each group. The factions debated, and some members grew frustrated, but Ryan remained patient. He used logic and empathy, demonstrating that humans could understand complex cultural nuances and facilitate cooperation. By the end of the negotiation, a mutually acceptable solution was reached. The factions nodded in acknowledgement, some even smiling, a rare gesture in the formal alien court. Queen Zaraya watched from her seat, her expression thoughtful. "Ryan," she said, "you have proven that humans can inspire, lead, and negotiate. You have earned the cautious respect of my court. But the greatest challenge is yet to come. Loyalty and courage will soon be tested in ways you cannot predict." Ryan felt a mixture of pride and anticipation. He had navigated complex social dynamics, earned trust, and influenced events without force or fear. Yet he knew that his journey was far from over. The trials ahead would challenge not only his abilities but the very essence of his character. As the sun began to set over the Crystal Palace, Ryan reflected on the lessons of the day. He realized that true strength was not measured in muscle or weaponry alone. It was measured in understanding, patience, empathy, and the ability to inspire trust. Humans, he thought, had a unique capacity for these qualities, and he was determined to prove that they could thrive even in the most alien of worlds. That night, he returned to his quarters, weary but determined. The trials had tested him in ways he had never imagined, and the alien court had begun to see the value of a human mind guided by courage and morality. He closed his eyes, knowing that tomorrow would bring new challenges, new tests, and new opportunities to prove that humanity could rise above fear and doubt. Ryan's thoughts drifted to Queen Zarya. She was not merely a ruler. She was a force of wisdom and authority. Her decisions shaped the fate of an entire civilization, yet she had chosen to observe him, to test him, to offer him a path forward. Ryan felt a deep respect for her, understanding that the trials were as much about teaching him as they were about evaluating him. Sleep came slowly, but when it did, Ryan dreamed of the alien court, the shimmering forests and the creatures of Vorin. He saw himself navigating challenges, making decisions and earning trust. He felt a growing sense of purpose. He was not just surviving. He was becoming part of something greater, something that required courage, wisdom, and humanity in its purest form. Morning came, and with it, the promise of new trials. Ryan rose with renewed determination. He understood that every day on Vorin was a lesson, every challenge a test, and every interaction an opportunity to prove that humans could rise to meet the extraordinary. He stepped into the courtyard once more, ready to face the trials ahead. The court awaited, the creatures of the planet observed, and Queen Zarya watched with that same golden intensity. Ryan felt the weight of expectation but also the thrill of possibility. He was no longer merely a human visitor. He was a participant in the story of Vorin, and he was determined to prove that humanity had a place among the stars. Ryan awoke to the soft golden light of Vorin's twin suns, feeling a mixture of excitement and tension. The previous days had taught him courage, intelligence, and diplomacy, but today promised something different. Queen Zarya had summoned him personally. The summons was brief. He was to meet her in the central hall at sunrise. No explanation, no warning, only the weight of her command. As he walked through the crystal corridors, the reflections of sunlight made patterns that danced across the walls. He moved carefully, aware that each step, each sound was being observed. The palace had become more than a place of residence. It was a living part of Vorin, a being that seemed to respond to his presence. The air carried a subtle energy that made him alert, reminding him that he was far from home, far from safety, and in a place where his choices mattered more than ever. When he entered the central hall, Queen Zarya was waiting. Her presence filled the room. She stood tall, her silver robes flowing, eyes glowing like molten gold. Around her, the council of advisors watched silently, their expressions a mixture of curiosity, respect, and skepticism. "Ryan," she said, her voice calm but carrying authority, "you have demonstrated skill, understanding, and leadership. You have earned the cautious respect of my court. But respect alone is not enough. Today, you will face a confrontation that will test your courage, your loyalty, and your judgment. Your choices will define your place among us." Ryan's heart raced. He had faced trials and challenges, but this felt personal. This was no longer a test of ability or intelligence, it was a test of character. Queen Zarya gestured, and 2 guards brought forward a large device. It resembled a crystalline cage, its surface shimmering with energy. Inside, a holographic representation of a planet appeared, flickering with signs of instability. The queen stepped closer. "This simulation represents a colony under threat," she explained. "It is a critical situation. You must make a decision that will save the lives of many. But there is a cost. You must choose between the immediate safety of the colony and the long-term stability of the region. One choice may endanger your standing with my people. The other may risk lives. Choose wisely. Ryan studied the holographic planet. He could see the colonies in distress, their energy grids failing, and the citizens panicked. His mind raced, calculating the possibilities. He had learned from the previous trials that fear and rash action would not serve him here. He needed careful thought, courage, and the wisdom to act decisively. He reached out, manipulating the simulation. The first option was to divert resources to the immediate crisis. Lives would be saved, but the region's stability would suffer, leading to potential future conflicts. The second option was to reinforce long-term defenses, ensuring stability but risking casualties in the short term. Ryan's hand hovered over the controls. He closed his eyes briefly, focusing on the human values that had guided him so far: protection, integrity, and responsibility. After a moment, he made his choice. He would prioritize saving lives immediately, then work to stabilize the region afterward. He executed the plan, directing energy and resources toward the colonies in distress. The holographic citizens responded to his guidance, evacuating and finding safety. The system stabilized enough to prevent total disaster, but the region remained fragile. Queen Zarya observed silently, her golden eyes unblinking. The court murmured quietly, some members questioning whether his choice had been wise. "You have chosen compassion over calculation," Zarya said finally. "Many would prioritize strategy over life. You have shown that humans can balance morality with intellect. That is rare and valuable." Ryan felt a surge of relief. He had faced the test, and the Queen's words confirmed that he had not failed. Yet he sensed that the confrontation was not over. "Now," the Queen continued, "you must face me directly. Your loyalty, courage, and honesty will be examined. Speak, human, and tell me why you should stand among us." Ryan stepped forward, meeting her gaze. He felt the weight of the room, the council, and the planet itself. His mind cleared, and he spoke with honesty. "Queen Zarya, I am not here to dominate or deceive. I am here to learn, to contribute, and to prove that humans can rise to challenges that test courage, intelligence, and morality. My decisions will reflect respect for life, loyalty to those I serve, and integrity in all actions. I ask not for power, but for the chance to stand with your people and show that humanity can be a force for good." Zarya's gaze softened slightly, though her golden eyes remained intense. "Your words are sincere, human. But sincerity alone cannot be tested. Action is required." She gestured, and a series of holographic scenarios appeared, each more complex than the last. One showed an alien village under siege by natural disasters. Another depicted a disagreement between rival factions. The final scenario simulated a moral dilemma, a situation in which saving one group might endanger another. Ryan studied each scenario carefully. He remembered the lessons of the forest, the council, and the simulations. He approached the problems with logic, empathy, and courage. He prioritized lives when necessary, balanced resources when possible, and communicated effectively with all parties involved. As he worked through the scenarios, he felt the weight of observation. The Queen and her advisors were scrutinizing every decision, every hesitation, every choice. Yet Ryan remained focused, relying on the skills and wisdom he had gained through the trials. Hours passed, and Ryan completed the final scenario. Queen Zarya stepped forward, her expression unreadable for a long moment. Then she spoke. "You have faced the confrontation with courage, wisdom, and morality. You have demonstrated that humans can rise above fear, make difficult decisions, and act with integrity. Your actions reflect a balance that is rare even among my people." The council members nodded slowly. Some whispered among themselves, acknowledging his achievements. Tala approached him and placed a hand on his shoulder. "You have shown that humans can be more than expected. You inspire respect through action and thought. That is true leadership." Ryan felt a deep sense of relief and pride. The confrontation had tested him in ways he could not have imagined. It had examined not only his abilities but the very core of his character. He realized that Queen Zarya had designed these challenges not to intimidate, but to reveal the strength and potential within him. The Queen regarded him for a long moment. "Ryan, you have proven yourself worthy of consideration. Your courage, loyalty, and moral judgment are exceptional, but the ultimate choice remains. You may continue to serve as an observer and participant, learning our ways, or you may take a step further and accept a position that will define your place among us permanently. Rian's heart quickened. A permanent position meant responsibility beyond any he had faced. It meant influence, trust, and a connection to an alien civilization unlike any human had ever known. He understood that this was more than an opportunity. It was a chance to demonstrate the true potential of humanity. He stepped forward, meeting Queen Zaria's gaze. "I am ready," he said simply. "I wish to serve, to learn, and to contribute. I will honor the trust you place in me and prove that humans can rise to the greatest challenges with courage, wisdom, and integrity." The Queen's golden eyes glowed softly, and she inclined her head. "Very well, Ryan. You have faced the confrontation and emerged stronger. Your place among us is not yet fully defined, but you have earned the respect and trust of this court. The trials ahead will continue, and your journey will test every aspect of your character. But today you have shown that humans can be more than expected. You have begun to prove that your kind is capable of greatness." Ryan exhaled, feeling a mixture of pride, relief, and determination. The confrontation had been intense, challenging, and revealing. He had faced moral dilemmas, complex decisions, and the scrutiny of an entire alien court. Yet he had emerged with his integrity intact and the respect of a civilization far beyond Earth's understanding. As he left the central hall, Tala walked beside him. "You have shown more than I expected," she said. "But remember, Ryan, every step forward will be met with new challenges. Your courage and wisdom will be tested again, and your choices will shape the future of your place here. Learn, adapt, and continue to prove that humanity has a role among the stars." Ryan nodded. He understood the truth in her words. The confrontation had been a turning point, revealing not only his abilities but the potential of humans to rise above fear, doubt, and limitation. He knew that the final trials would be the most demanding, testing his courage, loyalty, and wisdom to their fullest. That evening, as he rested in his quarters, Ryan reflected on the events of the day. The confrontation had been more than a challenge. It had been a lesson in character, morality, and leadership. He realized that the Queen had designed the trials to push him beyond physical skill and intellect, to examine the essence of what it meant to be human. Ryan's mind wandered to the future. He would face trials of loyalty, courage, and morality that could define not only his place in this alien world, but the perception of humanity itself. He felt a surge of determination. Humans had always risen to the greatest challenges, adapting, persevering, and proving their worth. And now on Vorin he would continue that legacy. The sun rose over Vorin, casting long golden shadows across the Crystal Palace. Ryan stood at the edge of the central courtyard, looking out over the vast landscape. Forests stretched toward the horizon. Rivers shimmered like silver threads, and the twin suns reflected off the crystalline mountains. It was beautiful, serene, and alive. Yet beneath the peace lay a tension he could feel in his chest. Today would be the day of the ultimate choice. Queen Zarya had summoned him once again. This time her message had been simple yet weighty. "Ryan, come to the council chamber at sunrise. Your path will be decided." He did not know what she meant by that. He did not know whether the choice was his alone, or if it involved the future of his people in this alien world. All he knew was that this moment would define everything. As he entered the council chamber, he was struck by its grandeur. Tall crystal pillars rose to the ceiling, reflecting light in shifting patterns. The alien council was assembled, each member standing with composure, their eyes fixed on him. At the center, Queen Zarya waited, her golden eyes calm yet piercing. Her presence was commanding, but beneath it, Ryan sensed a flicker of curiosity, perhaps even hope. "Rian," Zarya said, her voice clear and authoritative, "you have faced trials of courage, wisdom, and morality. You have proven that humans can rise above fear and uncertainty. You have gained the respect of my court. Yet now comes the final decision. You must choose the path that will define your place among us and the place of your people in this world." Ryan's mind raced. He understood the weight of her words. To accept this path meant a permanent role among the alien civilization, becoming part of their court and their culture. To refuse would mean leaving Vorin, returning to Earth, and abandoning the trust and respect he had earned. The choice was not just personal, it was historical. He looked at Queen Zarya, her golden eyes unwavering. He thought of the trials he had faced, The forests where he had learned patience and respect, the simulations that tested his morality, the councils where he had practiced leadership, and the confrontations that measured his courage and loyalty. He realized that each step had prepared him for this moment. "I understand the choice, Your Majesty," Rian said. "I have learned the ways of Vorin, the values of your people, and the strength it takes to earn respect here. I also understand that my decisions reflect not only on myself but on humanity. I cannot take this lightly." Queen Zarya inclined her head. "Then speak your mind." "Your words will guide my judgment." Ryan took a deep breath. "I wish to serve not as a subordinate but as an ally. I wish to represent humanity with integrity, courage, and wisdom. I wish to help build a bridge between our worlds, showing that humans can rise to challenges and contribute to the greater good. I accept responsibility for my choices, and I promise to honor the trust you and your people place in me." A silence filled the chamber. The council observed intently, their expressions unreadable. Tala, the advisor who had guided him, stepped forward. Her eyes reflected approval. "He speaks with honesty and understanding," she said. "He has proven his abilities. The human spirit has shown itself worthy of trust." Queen Zarya remained silent for a long moment, her golden eyes fixed on Ryan. Then she spoke, her voice carrying weight and authority. "Ryan, humans are often underestimated. Your people are seen as fragile, impulsive, and unpredictable. Yet you have shown what your kind can accomplish with courage, wisdom, and morality. You have earned a place among us not by strength alone, but by proving the true value of humanity." Ryan felt a surge of pride and relief, but he remained composed. He understood that respect was earned through action, not emotion. The Queen gestured and the council members nodded in unison. The decision was clear. "You have chosen wisely, human," Zarya said. "You will serve as a representative of humanity and as a trusted member of this court. Your actions will shape not only your own future but the future of your people and ours. This is no small responsibility, but I believe you are capable of rising to it." Rian bowed respectfully. "I will not disappoint you, Your Majesty. I will honor this responsibility and do my best to prove that humanity is worthy of respect, trust, and partnership." The Queen nodded, a faint smile crossing her features. "Then let this day mark the beginning of a new era. Humans are no longer outsiders. You have earned a place here, and with it, the opportunity to show the strength of your kind." The council erupted in applause, though subtle and measured according to their custom. Ryan felt the weight of their acknowledgement, understanding that he had achieved something extraordinary. He had risen from an outsider to a trusted ally, proving that humans could meet the expectations of a powerful alien civilization. After the ceremony, Queen Zarya spoke to him privately. "Ryan, the trials are not over. You will face challenges, decisions, and responsibilities that will test every skill and virtue you possess, but you have shown the qualities necessary to face them. Your place here is not a reward. It is an opportunity to lead, to influence, and to inspire." Ryan nodded. "I understand. I am ready to continue learning and contributing." Over the following weeks, Rian immersed himself in the life of Vorin. He observed the council, participated in discussions, and helped mediate disputes. He learned the customs, traditions, and values of the alien civilization, while also sharing knowledge from humanity. He introduced ideas for cooperation, problem-solving, and innovation. Slowly, the court and the people of Vorin began to see humans not as unpredictable outsiders, but as capable allies and partners. Ryan also spent time exploring the world beyond the palace. He visited the forests, rivers, and mountains, studying the creatures, plants, and landscapes. Each exploration brought new lessons and challenges. He learned to navigate the natural balance of Vorin, understanding that every action, no matter how small, could have consequences for the planet and its inhabitants. Through these experiences, Rian's reputation grew. The people of Vorin admired his courage, wisdom, and respect for life. They trusted him to make difficult decisions, and they valued his perspective. Even skeptics in the court began to acknowledge the unique qualities of humans: adaptability, ingenuity, and moral courage. One day, Tala approached him with a message from Queen Zarya. "The Queen wishes to speak with you regarding a matter of great importance. She will meet you at the palace summit." Ryan followed her to the summit, a towering platform overlooking the capital and the surrounding forests. Queen Zarya stood at the edge, gazing at the horizon. "Ryan," she said, You have proven yourself in every way. You have shown courage, wisdom, and moral strength. You have earned the trust of the court and the people. But there is one final consideration. A permanent role among us comes with privileges and responsibilities. You may choose to remain here, representing humanity and guiding cooperation, or you may return to your homeworld. Both paths are honorable, but one will shape the future of both our worlds more directly. Ryan thought carefully. He imagined returning to Earth, sharing knowledge of Vorin and inspiring his people. But he also thought of the bonds he had formed here, the trust he had earned, and the opportunities to make a lasting difference on Vorin. After a moment, he spoke. Your Majesty, my place is here. I will serve as a bridge between our worlds, honor the trust you have placed in me, and continue to demonstrate the strength and value of humanity. I will dedicate myself to this responsibility with courage, wisdom, and integrity. Queen Zaria's eyes softened, and a faint smile appeared. Then let it be so. You will serve as a representative of humans, a trusted advisor, and a partner in the governance of this world. Your actions will shape the perception of your people and strengthen the bond between our civilizations. Rian felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had faced trials, confrontations, and moral dilemmas. He had proven the potential of humans to an alien civilization that had once doubted them. He had shown courage, intelligence, and moral strength, earning not only respect but trust and partnership. As the sun set over Vorin, Ryan looked out across the landscape. The forest glimmered in the fading light, rivers reflected the colors of the sky, and the twin suns disappeared behind the mountains. He knew that challenges would continue, but he also knew that humanity had a place among the stars. Queen Zaria approached him. Ryan, the future is uncertain, but your presence here ensures that humans will be part of it. Lead with courage, act with wisdom, and honor the values that brought you here. You have begun a new chapter for both our worlds. Rian bowed respectfully. I will do my best, Your Majesty. Humanity will not disappoint you. As he left the summit, Ryan felt a surge of pride and determination. He had risen from a lone explorer to a trusted member of an alien civilization. He had faced impossible trials, moral dilemmas, and challenges of leadership. Yet he had emerged stronger, wiser, and ready to shape the future. He knew that his journey was far from over. Challenges would continue, responsibilities would grow, and decisions would test him again. But he also knew that humanity had proven itself capable of greatness. Humans could rise to meet any challenge, adapt to any world, and earn the respect of the stars. Rian looked to the horizon, feeling the wind of Vorin on his face. He understood the truth.